main takeaways, and what did you learn about your team this fall?
Oh, a lot of stuff. Learned a lot. First off, I thought that fall went really well. No major injuries, just a few things here and there. So that was smooth. I thought the competition was outstanding. Made for some really good practices and some very good scrimmages. Guys were getting after it. This is a hardworking team. I think that what I saw is that the position players know there are a lot of spots open, and they were fighting for them. I saw like a lot of guys get better. Obviously, with the returning pitchers that we have, and we lost Connor Nolan, but besides that, we got a lot of guys back. And then we brought in some really good young pitchers, some really good transfer pitchers, junior college, four-year school. I feel like our pitching is going to be really solid. That's one of the takes, and a lot of competition to get on the field, position player wise, which is really healthy. And I feel like we just continue to get better, and it hasn't stopped. The guys are working extremely hard right now in the off season and doing a lot of group work, some teamwork, a lot of strength and conditioning, and it's been good.
Was there anything that developed over the fall that maybe surprised you or that you weren't expecting, whether it be a specific player or an area of your game or anything?
Well, I think probably what jumps out at me a little bit is that maybe a few of the pitchers that we brought in are better than I thought they were going to be. And I think about, obviously everyone knows about Smith and Tigert and some of those guys, but I thought Wiggins made a really big jump from last spring till now. He's just kind of turned that corner that we've been waiting on. And so what do I mean by that? Velocity is still great. He can really hold his velocity better than anybody on the team. I mean, what you see in the first, you're probably going to see in the fifth and sixth. But he threw the ball where he wanted to with the fastball, and he got a breaking ball and a changeup, throwing him around the plate. And, if you just look at all the returners and you look at the numbers, he had the best fall. So he makes that jump. We know Smith, he's going to be great. Tigert and all those guys are going to be good. It's something that, that excites you a little bit as a coach. And then, some of the guys we brought in, like Hunter Holland and Adcock, we thought they were, 90-mile-an-hour guys. These guys have made some jumps. I'm not going to say they can hold it like Wiggins, but they can throw the ball 94, 95, 93 with good secondary stuff, and they fill up the zone. And I know if I was a defender, I'd like to play behind them because they're going to just fill it up. They're going to be swinging. So there's more in there. Just probably don't have time to go through them all.
And before I turn it back over for some other people, with Wiggins, was there a specific moment that you realized like, hey, he's different, or was it kind of a gradual build, or how did that develop?
Well, Coach Hobbs told me after a couple of bullpens, he felt like that Jackson had just made a jump, and he was throwing the ball around the zone, not a lot of bad misses. And, that's what he took to the mound. And, a lot of times the bullpen's like batting practice for a hitter. One of the guys can hit at 5, 7 o'clock doesn't happen. And Jackson took it to the field. And, when we played outside competition, we gave him the ball first inning of game 1. So we were trying to let him know that we appreciate his effort and that he deserved it, and we gave him the ball.
Andrew Ellis.
Hey, Coach, I can't remember if it was last fall or the fall before where you said that y'all had hit as more home runs than you could ever remember. Seems like the power was really there this fall. There was just a lot of home runs every other game. And just kind of, what did you see from this team from a power standpoint? Do you think it kind of surprised you a little bit how much power you guys had?
Well, last year in January, I made a mistake of saying that we were really going to hit. So I'm not going to say a whole lot. I like the offense. I like the competition to get on the field. We brought in some junior college kids, a couple of transfers, a couple, 3, 4 returners that played a lot, and they've all gotten better. Our returners are better. Stovall's better. Borofin's better. I feel like Diggs is better. I mean, Slavens is going to be better. He's starting to swing the bat now. Didn't play this fall because of the surgery. And there's more. And then some of the kids we brought in are, you put numbers up at a JUCO. It's not Division I baseball, and it's not the Southeastern Conference, but they showed that they could sustain the level that they were on all year to do that. They come in and been good for the most part. So I feel like that offensively, the power is probably a little better than I thought it was going to be. But also, we bring in a guy like Wegner who missed about 3 weeks because of a kind of a oblique issue. The first couple of weeks, he was really good. Then he hurt himself, and he's a little slow coming back, but he's got power, obviously. Josenberger, a transfer, came in, didn't hit a lot of home runs at Kansas and played hurt the whole second half of last year with his back. He's a really good player. He even hit a few home runs. So we're gonna hit some home runs, but I think what you're gonna see of this offense, they're gonna fight you pretty good. And if the fall's any indication, we should be able to put together a pretty good lineup.
Speaking of guys with power, Reese Robinette, it seemed like he kind of just came out of nowhere this fall and just was tearing it up. Just what'd you see from him and some of your other freshmen like Jones and Neville? Kind of what'd you see from those guys?
Robinette, the story with him growing up is he's a good hitter, big left-handed hitter from up in Missouri, and just, he's a guy that we need to get on, and we followed him around a little bit, and he hit. After we committed him, I talked to a lot of people that watched their team or had kids on those teams a lot, the parents, and they said he just hits. And, he's kind of a quiet kid, and he's got a nickname of Big Country in here. Every team needs a big country. I like it. So he got better and better. Was a third baseman in high school. A lot of times that translate to a first baseman at our level, but he's pretty good over there, but he's a good first baseman. We're playing with both spots, but the second half was really good. And he proved that he could hit some good pitching. He uses the whole field. He's got a good swing for a big guy. It's short, but powerful. And I think he's got a bright future here. Some of the other freshmen like Neville, he started out fall ball on fire. He hit a homer and a double, I think, the first scrimmage, and he had a stretch in there where he struck out 7 times in a row. And he was kind of like, wow, this is hard here. And finally got him a hit, and we all clapped for him. And I think he relaxed a little bit. And Caden Wallace had the same thing happen to him his freshman year as well. So he's a good player. You talk about Jones, just raw power, good player, fighting to play like they all are, and trying to get him in really good shape. But he hit a ball this fall about 450 feet, and it was 117 off the bat. And that's hard to do when you're 18 years old. So it's in there. We're excited about those guys and what they're gonna, be able to do for us this year and the next couple of years going forward.
Andrew Joseph.
Yeah, Coach, I'm just curious about your overall thoughts on the top-ranked 2023 recruiting class that you put together.
Yeah, I'll mention that a little bit, and then again, we can talk about this in the future more when we get everybody signed, because those are coming in every hour right now. But we knew he had a great class. I think Coach Thompson heads that up. Coach Hobbs is right behind him, and they rounded him up and evaluated, and our whole staff got involved with the process. And obviously we're really excited about that. And I think that the good players want to play with good players. They want to feel like they're going to a program that has a chance to win and win big. And it's kind of what happened there. We've had some good years. Guys saw where each other were, saw where some guys were coming to play here, and they want to jump in, and we got in the middle of it and got them on campus. And with the facilities we have and all that we have to offer here, fan base, support, I think it added up to be the right choice for a lot of them. And the future is bright. We know we're going to lose some of these guys, but you can't get them if you don't get them. So you got to try to get them and see what they do. And if they get here, could be really special.
And how has the Hunt Center impacted your ability to land those top-tier recruits?
It's been a big part of it. Bringing student athlete and his parents here, and you show them all the academic side of it. You bring them down here and show them the athletic side of it and the development side of it here at the Hunt Center. It's second to none. Playing for highly motivated coaches and playing with highly motivated teammates. I think that a lot of them realize this is a good fit for them. We, not everybody fits this program. We want guys that are really serious and want to get better and want to develop, because we work extremely hard and we don't hide that. And we talk about it. And if it scares some guys off, then better now than later. But the ones that get here, I would say just about every one of them, they're glad they're here. And obviously they have to work hard, and it's tough to get in the lineup as a young player, but it's that way at about 20 schools in the country, and we're one of them.
Sean,
Hey, Coach, hope you're doing well. In the past, you've mentioned that you wanted to see Diggs get some more work in and maybe put him in the outfield. What have you seen from him this fall?
Yeah, we've talked about that. We talked about that in this meeting the other day. I met with all the players individually in my office after fall ball. And that's one thing I talked with Kendall about, was playing corner outfield in the future. He's a corner infielder, he's corner outfield, I think, in professional baseball. And I do believe that he'll get that opportunity. Right now, it's all about the bat with him. But I think professionally, they're going to put him in left field and right field and just say, swing that left-handed bat. And he got a long way to go in the outfield, and he knows it, but he hadn't put in much time there. We discussed it again in a meeting today with the coaches about when we get back in January and different things. He's working mostly with the infield right now, but he's going to get his work in the outfield. But yeah, he had a good fall offensively. I'm not big into the stats as far as batting average. I'm more about quality at bats and hard hit balls. And I'm that way in the spring as well. I just kind of use my eyes as much as I look and see what stats say. I know if a guy's hitting the ball well, just like you do. So he hit the ball well.
And then you had three great defenders in Moore, Battles, and Wallace leave this past offseason. What have you seen from freshmen and transfers kind of in the infield to try and get some of that defense back?
Yeah, it's yeah, that's the way you should word it. Get some of it back, because you're not going to get all that back. And that was a rare situation at this level with those three quality guys. And then we had Stovall at first that could really pick it, played great defense over there. Stovall's gone to second base. He's done a great job. He's a really good second baseman. You guys are going to get to see that now that he's getting everyday reps there, turning the double play, fielding the ball. He's really good. So we'll be in good shape there. So really, we're looking at the left side and and catcher. We lost quality guys there. So I feel like if the left side of the infield plays well and we catch good, we could have a really good season. So we feel good about the outfield and first base with Brady coming back and a couple other options over there. So yeah, we're not really going to name names, but the guys that are there, they're working hard, and there's a lot of competition to play.
Last question. You have a lot of transfers coming in that have some pretty good stolen base numbers. I was wondering if y'all have kind of worked on that some this fall, and if you're going to continue working on that as you go forward.
Yeah, we've got a couple guys that like to run a little bit. Josenberger pretty much jumps out at me. He likes to run. A couple others, they got to get on the field right now. Tavian's definitely, a starter. He had a great fall, top of the order guy, switch hitter, can bunt, handle the bat a little bit. But he's got a little feel for stealing. We'll run when we get the opportunity. We don't want to run ourselves out of innings because we feel like we can hit a double. So, but we definitely work on it. And it's something that we work on a lot when we get back all the way until the season starts. And, I green light the guys in the fall. They can run anytime they want. I want to see who wants to run. If I green light guys in the fall and they don't run, then why would I give them the steal sign in the spring when the games count? Because their heart's not in it. The guys that want to run, they're going to run. So Tavian was one of those guys that did that a lot.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Mason.
Yeah, Coach, you briefly mentioned that catcher spot. I'm curious after the fall, how you feel about the guys back there.
Well, I feel like, Polk and Roland did a good job. I mean, Kilgore was hurt a little bit, still banged up, but didn't get as much opportunity, but the top two guys did. And I think Polk was really consistent all fall defensively. He had some good moments at the plate, hit some doubles and some home runs. And Parker was pretty consistent with the bat, not quite as consistent behind the plate. I think that, we've got a good mixer. We've got a switch hitter and right-handed hitter, and they both have a little experience back there, and they're both strong. And I thought for the most part, catching position was hopefully solved.
And then that last Fall World Series game, I think we saw Brady Slavens taking some BP. Just curious how he's doing.
I think you did. I'm pretty sure I saw him from the balcony when I was not out there early enough for that. But yeah, he was just starting to hit, and he's hitting now. He's actually throwing now. He's doing really well. I think Brady's in a really good place. He feels good about being here. He's excited about playing first base. He's excited about getting on the field instead of DHing all the time like last year because of the elbow. I think he'll have a really good year for us. And I think that we've got enough players that he saw it this fall that he's going to be surrounded by some good hitters. So it's not like he's got to go up there and hit a 3-run homer every other at bat. We're really working with him going the other way like he did pretty much down the stretch. I remember the home run he hit opposite field against Oklahoma State that gave us a lead, and that regional, and some balls up the middle against North Carolina. And I think he's going to have a good year for us.
And then some of those freshman pitchers, I'm curious, do you think any of them maybe this season will have a chance to, get some good innings in, maybe Gage Wood, Sean Fitzpatrick, guys like that?
Yeah, so, you start with Wood. I thought Wood threw the ball extremely well. He got off to a rough start his first outing, and after that, he was pretty good. He's going to laugh about it one day. I think he walked the bases loaded, and then who do you have to face was Stovall. I think it was his first scrimmage of the year, and Stovall fought off a bunch of good pitches and then hit one in the upper deck. So after that, he was really good. And I really liked the way he handled that too, to be honest with you. He didn't fall apart. He showed me a little bit of something there. And, I see Coyle getting to pitch a lot as a freshman. And, Fitzpatrick's kind of the wild card lefty that he's different. Get you a hitter here or there and give you an inning, and that role could grow. There's other guys that threw pretty well too. We have some good freshman arms.
Dudley.
Hey, Coach. Talk a little bit about Callie. Certainly, had his moments during the fall, and certainly, can do it at the plate there a lot.
Yeah, he had a really good fall for us. He didn't finish probably the way he would have liked to, but he made an impression on our team. And some rankings, we have all the kids fill out forms at the end of the year and they rank him, and he was one of the top hitters, and got some power. He'll fight you, strike zone pretty good. On the defensive side, he's a big kid. He's got really soft hands, got a good arm. Sometimes when you have really good hands, you don't want to move your feet. You just want your hands to do all the work. So that's something we're working on. And but he can play third. When I recruited him, I thought it'd be, big kid like this playing third, going to have to show it, prove it to us. And he's done a pretty good job. He's a great first baseman, and he's a good third baseman. And, we want him to be a really good third baseman. So there's competition over there with him and Jones and Diggs and maybe a couple others, but that's a good problem to have right now.
McLaughlin also, flashed during the fall. Thoughts on him?
He's got a good swing, flat swing, hit for a high average, as did Callie at the junior college level. Both of them were All-Americans. I think Callie was a first-team All-American. And, I just think that he's a left-handed hitter that he could play some first. He can DH. I think he could even pinch hit. He's got a good makeup about him where he doesn't get all worked up about things. And, he played third base and first base. He also pitched. A lot of people don't know this. He had Tommy John surgery about a year. I think it's been about a year and a half now. He has a strong arm. He has a low arm slot, but we even talked about seeing how that might go a little bit in the spring, just to get him up there, and not necessarily because we need him to pitch for us this year, but we want to see what he can do and maybe get him ready for the future. And, But, I think he hit 3 home runs in our little series there that was shortened by lack of pitching depth and guys were getting tired. Plus we pulled all the older guys after a few of them, most of them anyway, that threw against the Rangers minor league club. We shut him down after that. So I thought he did a great job.
One last thing, the opportunity to play in these events like in Arlington at start the season, how much does that just help, get you ready as you start going into the spring?
Yeah, I think the players are all excited. I know that the fans are probably going to really like it. As a coaching staff, it's a little nerve-wracking, honestly, to go right out of the chute. We don't know if we're going to come out of the snow or what the weather's going to be like. And, playing some teams that maybe have played and prepared in a little nicer weather. But bottom line, it's the beginning of the season. You get to kind of find out where you're at. And, just you kind of look back on things. I remember in 2 different times we played at Minute Maid Park and played a bunch of really good schools, mostly Big 12 schools. And I remember one year we went 3-0, felt pretty good leaving there and didn't have a great season. I remember one year going down there and going 0-3, thinking, wow, this isn't good. And we went to Omaha that year. So it's nice to go down there, and I just want to play well. Obviously, I'd like to win them all, a couple for sure, but so do the other teams we're playing. So it's going to be it'll be great competition to start the season. And the good thing is we know we're going to play in comfortable weather. If it's nice, they can open that roof. If it's not, close it up. We know we're going to play. And I think we're going to play in front of some huge crowds for college baseball, even though basketball season's, coming down to the wire in mid to late February. I believe, I think we play Texas on Friday night at 7. I think that's where we're scheduled right now. I don't know if I was supposed to tell you that, but that's kind of what I think. So that's not 100%. But if that's the case, I think you could see 20, 25,000. You may see more. I think it'll be exciting.
Appreciate it, man.
Okay.
Come back around, Hutch.
Yeah, Dave, you mentioned the all the competition on the team because of all the spots that were open. Do you feel like you've solidified some of those spots? Or are there maybe a couple of positions that are still up for grabs as you go into the spring?
Well, I could write a lineup today if I had to, and but there's a couple in my mind that I think that are really tight. I think the shortstop spot, probably third base. Outfield spot. We feel like we've got maybe 4 to 5 guys that are fighting for 3, and it always works itself out because it's a good mix of right and left-handed hitters. So maybe I platoon a little bit early. I always tell the hitters, you guys kind of write the lineup and you show us who to play, and we just put you in a certain order. And I truly believe that. So I think there's still a lot to be won between now and opening day, but I don't know. Obviously Stovall is going to be our second baseman. I feel like Slavens will be our first baseman. Borfin had a good fall, got a really good shot to be our right fielder, and Tavian had an outstanding fall. On base percentage was through the roof, stole bases, made plays, looking pretty good there. I think that a guy like Neville in an outfield, he's an excellent center fielder. He's an excellent right fielder. He's going to get to play a lot. And then obviously, Wegner in left, he was tearing it up where he banged that rib up. So he'll be fine.
I know you were giving Tiger a chance to start. How did that go? What did you see from him? And could you do you kind of have an idea of what his role will be on the staff this season?
Yeah, he started a couple times early in fall ball, but it was still early. We were only throwing a couple innings. And then he needed a break. Let's just put it that way. He was fine, but so we really didn't get a great look at it, to be able to throw him 50, 60 pitches. So that's still up in the air. His stuff's really good though. His fastball is good. He's got 2 fastballs now, and one that's straighter and hard, and one that's moving all over the place and it's hard as well. So, you're talking about a 4-seamer or 2-seamer. It's fun to watch him pitch. Breaking ball is good as always. So he has his stuff to start. He could be a middle guy. He could close. We have about 4 guys that I would say this about. So I'm glad we play a lot of games early. We actually have a game the Tuesday after the opening weekend, and we haven't been able to find one of those for a few years. So, you know, if a guy doesn't get to pitch or pitch very much opening weekend, we have a Tuesday game, and then we got 3 on the weekend, a couple the next week. So we'll play a lot of games early. And, you know, we just need to get it figured out before we open conference.
The last thing I got, a couple of your older guys, McIntyre and Morris, based on what we saw, maybe didn't have the fall that they had probably hoped. What did you see out of them? And do you have maybe less concerns because they're older and you know what they can do, you know, during the season?
Yeah, so both of those guys, to me, those guys are gamers. Fall, been here 4 years. Get better. They put in their work. I have no concern about those guys. They're going to be really good. McIntyre's a warrior. Morris he's tough as they come out there. I trust those guys. Our team trusts them. Yeah, they might not have lit it up or shut everybody down, but we know what they can do.
All right, Andrew Ellis, close us out.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to ask you about Harold Cole. You know, obviously, you know, towards the end of fall, it seemed like John Bolton had kind of taken over like the lead of that shortstop competition. But, you know, Cole had some good moments here and there, especially finished strong defensively. Just how'd you see him respond to that and finish his ball down the stretch?
Well, I thought he did a great job of not getting all uptight or dropping his head, pouting, or what about me? I mean, he just came out and worked. I really appreciate the maturity there. And I thought Bolton had some really good games. And then it came to the point in fall ball where we wanted to kind of put a starting team out there and play them against the other guys. And, you know, the first 2 days we did it, I think the score was 8-1 and 9-1. They whipped them. And, you know, and he was on the other team. But he just kept playing. He got better. He worked on his defense. He's got a really good arm when he wants to throw it, and he's a good hitter. And you know, if you're talking Bolton, and you know, and you're just talking about offense or defense, I'm gonna go with Harold on the offensive part. But the defense, you know, it was a little better the other way. So it was good to see the toughness come at him, the competitor come at him. And I think at the end of fall, he closed that gap. And again, if we started in tomorrow, that's one of the more difficult decisions that have to be made. And I think it'll work itself out.
All right, Coach, appreciate the time.
Okay, thanks, guys.